Long ago, in the mystical land of Ahamba, a woman named Nenna fled through the forest with blood on her legs and terror in her eyes. She was heavy with child and cursed. While pregnant, she had been attacked by a dark spirit in the forest, a spirit that haunted women chosen by destiny. Nenna ran through the night, her cries echoing into the wind, until she reached the sacred shrine of Ani, the goddess of rain and mercy. There, under the gaze of ancient statues and flickering oil lamps, Nenna gave birth to a baby girl, and with her final breath, she whispered, "Let her not carry my sorrow, let her carry her purpose." The chief priest, Orimiri, who had watched in silence from the shadows, stepped forward. He wrapped the child in white cloths and took her to the home of Omemma, one of the oldest and kindest women in the village. "Raise her well," he said. "The rain will call her one day." Then, as mysteriously as he came, he vanished into the mist. The baby was named Oma, meaning beauty after sorrow. For 15 years, Oma grew under Omemma's care, quiet but strong, often staring at the clouds and whispering to raindrops. While other children played, Oma spent hours by the riverside, sometimes humming songs no one had taught her. One day, a strange silence fell on the village. The priestess of the rain, guardian of the weather and protector of the land, was found dead, her staff of power broken beside her. Chief priest Orimiri returned to the palace to inform King Ahamefuna. He bowed and began, "Your Majesty, the gods have taken our rain priestess, but fear not, they have already chosen her successor." But the king cut him off. "Say no more. My daughter, Princess Adaeze, is worthy. She is royal, educated, and trained in the sacred arts. Who is better to wear the crown of the red priestess other than my daughter?" Chief Orimiri tried to speak again, but the king dismissed him with a wave. The gods had spoken through dreams and signs, but the king would not listen. Knowing the power, reverence, and privilege that came with being the priestess of the rain, the king of Ahamba made a bold decision. Convinced that no maiden in the land was more worthy than his daughter, he manipulated the process, persuading Princess Adaeze that she was the chosen one, even when the signs said otherwise. The chief priest had warned him, "Your daughter is not the chosen," but the king scoffed. "No other girl in this land possesses her grace, her beauty, her royalty. The gods will understand." As word spread, the villagers began to call her the rain. Everywhere Adaeze walked, heads bowed. She wasn't just a princess anymore, but she was sacred, worshipped, honored. She soaked in the adoration like a thirsty ground. Power tasted sweet and she wanted more. But on the day of her coronation, inside the sacred shrine, with only her and the chief priest present, something strange happened. The staff of divine office slipped from the priest's hand. Once, twice, thrice. The chief priest's heart pounded. This was no coincidence. The gods reject you, he whispered. You are not the chosen one. Adaeze's eyes fled. She remembered the chants of praise, the bowed heads, the offerings, all that would vanish. With a trembling voice, she said, "Tell the gods, it is better for a princess to die than to live with the shame that will follow if I am rejected now." When the priest hesitated, she knelt, picked up the staff herself and held it firmly. "If you help me," she said, her voice low and urgent, "I'll give you half of my inheritance." The chief priest stared at her, torn between duty and desire. At last, he nodded in silence. The first coronation was complete. But the gods were watching. 8 months passed. Not a single drop of rain fell in the land of Ahamba. Crops withered. Termites devoured what little remained. Rivers turned to cracked earth. Livestock died in droves. Households began to lose their firstborn sons, one after the other, as if a curse had been released. The people wept. One morning, hundreds of villagers gathered in front of the palace, desperate and angry. Your Highness, they cried to the king, our land is dying. What have we done to offend the gods? The king, tormented by guilt and confusion, summoned the chief priest. Are you sure we crowned the right maiden? The king asked. The chief priest, bound by greed and now fear, lied again. The gods are silent. He said, they have turned their face from us. The king collapsed in his throne, heartbroken, dismayed, and powerless. The suffering in Ahamba deepened. Then came the announcement of the great wrestling festival between Ahamba and the neighboring kingdom of Uzambi, a long-standing tradition. But this time, the stakes were different. If the warriors of Uzambi won, their champion would take the princess of Ahamba as his slave forever. The gods had been silent, but now it seemed they had planned their justice in another form. The fate of the false priestess hung in the balance. Would the land of Ahamba win and preserve what remained of its pride, or would the gods claim Adeze in the most humiliating way before all kingdoms? The day of the great wrestling festival between the people of Ahamba and Uzambi was drawing near. Princess Adeze grew restless. Her heart was filled with dread. She had posed as the chosen priestess of the reign, yet the gods remained silent, and the skies unyielding. Now another test loomed. Uzambi was a feared land, known for producing fierce warriors. Their wrestlers were legends in the neighboring kingdoms. Ahamba, by contrast, was a humble village of farmers and hunters, not known for brute strength, though they had managed to snatch victory in a few tournaments of the past. The day of the festival arrived. Cheers filled the air as both villages gathered at the square. Ahamba presented its 7 best warriors, one after another. They wrestled with courage, but it wasn't enough. The last warrior from Uzambi was a colossus, agile, brutal, and undefeated. He crushed Ahamba's champions, leaving the crowd in despair, their pride hung by a thread. Then, unexpectedly, a figure stepped forward, Nana, the handsome hunter, known for his bravery but not for combat. He was an unlikely savior. The crowd panted as he took to the arena. What followed stunned them all. In one swift, fateful move, Nana threw the Uzambi champion to the ground. The village erupted in wild celebration. It was more than a victory, it was destiny. Even the gods have said so, whispered the elders. This was not by might, the gods have spoken. Princess Adeze was overcome with joy. Her pride had been rescued, and her admiration for Nana loomed into longing. The king, deeply impressed, summoned Nana before the crowd and offered him a rare honor, his daughter's hand in marriage. But Nana knelt down and shook his head. My king, he said boldly, I cannot accept. My heart belongs to another. Oma, the maiden from the eastern farm. A heavy silence fell. The king was humiliated. Princess Adese's face darkened with fury. She had dreamt of being more than a princess, more than even a priestess. As Nana's wife, she would be referred to as the woman who stood beside Ahamba's greatest hero. He will marry me, she vowed silently. Days turned into weeks. The skies remained barren. The village was caused by a drought that refused to end. The crops withered, rivers shrank, and the people despaired. They turned to the priestess seeking answers. She told them to return on the next Eke market day for a divine message. When they did, she stood solemnly before them and spoke. The gods have spoken. Until the priestess marries and conceives a child, the rain shall not fall. The people murmured in confusion. Who would she marry? She was seen with no man. The gods have chosen Nana, she announced. The crowd buzzed in surprise, but no one objected. Nana was beloved. However, when they approached him again, Nana refused. I cannot marry her. My soul is tied to Oma. Whispers turned to slander, rumors spread like wildfire. She bewitched him, they said. That's why he won't obey the gods. Oma became an outcast. Children were warned not to speak to her. Women shunned her. Men spat in her direction. She walked with her head down as stones of shame were cast in silence and in words. One night, a group of enraged young men cornered her near the forest paths. They struck her, tore her clothes, and left her bleeding. Yet she did not cry out. Her silence only angered them the more. The priestess, desperate and cunning, summoned the elders. There is only one solution, she declared. If Oma leaves, the gods will remain silent. But if she is no more, Nana will be free to marry me, and our land will be saved. It was a cruel suggestion, and many hesitated. But the fear of fame outweighed their guilt. The day of Oma's execution arrived. The village square overflowed with people, some in tears, others resigned to their fate. Oma was tied before them, her face calm like morning dew. The executioner stepped forward, sword raised high. Just as the blade was about to fall, a blinding flash of lightning tore through the sky. Thunder cracked the heavens. The sword flew from the executioner's hand and buried itself to the earth. A powerful wind blew. A radiant spirit descended, clothed in light, its voice echoing like distant drums. Stop! It roared. You raise a hand against the very rain you seek? The crowd fell to their knees, trembling. This girl you cast aside, this girl you humiliated, is the rain, chosen by the gods before her birth. Through her shall the skies be healed. Silence blanketed the square, even the birds dare not chirp. And then the first drop fell.